Okay, so today I'm going to be covering the cases of Sharita Morrison and hello, my name is Candace Yvette, and I am a vlogger slash advocate for missing women. And I was covering the Sharita Morrison case, and I wanted to know if Detective Polavina was in.
Let me get you to love.
So yeah, y'all. So I just give me a second.
Special victim, how may I help you?
Hi, my name is Candace Yvette. Is Detective Polavina in?
No, he's going to be off today. Let me just check the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, he's off today.
He'll be here tomorrow. Okay.
No, he'll be off tomorrow.
Okay. Do you know which day he comes back on?
Yeah, the following day after that.
Okay, so Wednesday.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, so yeah, so I'll be covering the cases of Sharita Morrison and Keirra Coles, and I'm going to try to make this live short because I do have other things that I have to edit and get ready for the channel. I am working a lot behind the scenes. So I had to call that detective. That was one of the detectives who was working on one of these young ladies' cases, and I promised to call back around that time. They told me to call back around that time to see if this detective was in, and he is not. So I will be calling him again tomorrow and seeing what's going on with that case. But anywho, let's jump right into it. So in this video, I am going to be covering two cases out of the Chicago, Illinois area. The first is concerning Sharita or Rere Morrison. She's known affectionately as Rere Morrison, Rere to her loved ones and her friends and everyone. And she was last seen, y'all, on February 26th of 2021. She was driving a silver 2006 Porsche Cayenne with the license, the Illinois license plate of B as in boy, Z as in zebra, 12712. And that vehicle was last seen on the 6900 block of Thorpe Street. Several days after she was reported missing, her vehicle was found in the 7400 block of North Winchester Avenue by Ratchers Park. Okay. And so, obviously, you guys, if you know anything about her whereabouts, I have put the numbers to the detectives, the Special Victims Unit in Chicago in the description box below. But what's strange about Rere's case is Rere was 3 or 4 months pregnant when she went missing. She has two other children. Her son is like much older. He has to be like either or like later in his teens or somewhere around there. But she didn't go to pick up the 4-year-old daughter. The daughter was 4 around the time that she went missing. She didn't go pick up the daughter. So they knew that was wild, but also they're comparing her case to Keirra Coles. And Keirra Coles is the postal worker. I don't know if y'all remember that. Keirra Coles is the postal worker who went missing as well from Chicago. And she was also about 2 or 3 months pregnant. Now, in the Keirra Coles case, her boyfriend is suspected to have something to do with that. Like they suspect he has something to do with that. They are saying there's foul play that went on in that case. And it looked like from some of the videos that I found that they are looking for remains versus a missing person. So, yeah, I wanted to get on here and cover both of these cases. And let me just read up on what I found on Keirra Coles. If you guys haven't, have y'all heard about that? Or am I the only one who has been keeping up with missing persons cases over the years? She was the postal worker. She was last seen in Chicago, and they had a video of her. The mom said her mom's name is Karen Phillips, and her mom said that she didn't think that was her daughter in the video. But it's weird because both of these women are from the same demographic. They're black and female. They both were expecting at the time of their disappearances. And both of them like are from Chicago, the Chicago area. Okay, so let me read up a little bit on this Keirra Coles case, because she's been missing now, I believe, for like 4 years. And the boyfriend, they said he didn't when she went missing, he didn't help try to pass out flyers. He basically skipped states, and he has kids with another woman in Louisiana, and he went down to Louisiana to be with that woman. And if that don't strike y'all, if that don't strike as odd to y'all, I don't know what would, you know. And for me, it's pretty obvious that he has something to do with it. At this time, I think the Chicago Police Department, they just don't have the right evidence to make it stick, so they couldn't do nothing. You know, when they don't have anything on you, they have to let you go, right? So let me read this article about Keirra. I am still actively looking for the next of kin for Rere. Rere has only been missing for a little over a year now. Um, and I'm still looking for her next of kin since I couldn't find any next of kin. As you guys heard in the phone call, I called the police department. You know, when I can't find a next of kin, I will call the police departments to talk to the detectives working those cases, because a lot of times what I find on these cases is the ads really don't put out much. I feel like sometimes missing persons ads, they put out not so good pictures, and then they don't put out a lot of information on the person. So, you know, you kind of got to look deeper, because the more you aware you are and the more you know, the better. Okay, so let me read this case and then let me read off what I found just by researching. So this is concerning Kiera Coles. So it says 3 years ago, a 26-year-old postal worker who was eagerly expecting her first child mysteriously disappeared in her own neighborhood. There is no resolution, leaving her heartbroken mother desperate to know if her daughter is even alive or dead. Kiera Coles was about 3 months pregnant when she vanished on October 2nd of 2018 on Chicago's South Side. Her car was found, and that's also what both of these women share in common. They were both pregnant, they were both of the same demographic, both from Chicago, and in both cases, both cars were recovered after they went missing. Okay. So her car was found in front of her apartment with her phone and packed lunch still inside. The Chicago Police Department considers this case a high risk missing persons investigation with potential foul play suspected. Okay. For Cole's mother, Karen Phillips, having no answers is torturous. Phillips said police have not provided any information whether she's called over the last year. So they don't really know. They don't have any good leads on this case. They said that they've been getting leads from all across America, but it's all led to nothing. You know, so basically at this point, you know, I hate to say it, but you know, it's been like 4 years. I hope and pray she's still alive and out there somewhere, but it's been 4 years now. So at this time, we can only pray and hope that her remains pop up somewhere. Something solid is basically what I'm saying, like remains or a body or something solid, somebody who can break the silence to tell something, you know. But I can guarantee y'all, you know, and this is just a hunch. And if y'all been watching this page long enough, you know that when I have hunches, I have to double back. And once I put out a video, I have to put out another video because usually my hunches are confirmed, you know. So, anyways, let me go on. So it says, I could never reach nobody. They're gone to lunch. They'll call me back. And this is the mother talking about what happens when she calls the police department. They're out of the office. It's always something. She told ABC News last week. They don't even reach out and say, well, Miss Phillips, we're still going through this. Okay. Same thing that I heard from Keisha Jacobs' mother out in Virginia. We're still going through this. We don't have any new leads. Just say something. The Chicago police didn't respond to Phillips' claim that they ignored her calls, but in a statement to ABC News, the police department said it urges anybody with knowledge of her last whereabouts to contact the Chicago Police Department. We are seeking any and all information in an attempt to locate her, and we won't stop until we do. Okay. For Phillips, the loss is unbearable. I went from seeing my child every day to not seeing her at least to talking to her every day, not seeing her in the last 3 years. Okay, this don't sound right. I don't know why it sounds so mixed up. So basically, what she's saying is she went from talking to her daughter every day to not seeing her, and it basically rolled over into 3 years. Okay. She tries to stay strong for the other kids. She tries not to really break down in front of them. So the other kids that she's referring to is Keirra's siblings. Keirra didn't have any other children. The child that she was expecting at the time would have been her first child. Okay. So Kiera Coles' siblings range from age 35 to 24. Coles was a devoted aunt to her nieces and nephews and was the last of the Phillips children to have a baby. Phillips says she misses the grandchild she never got a chance to meet. I miss him, he or she, even though they were not born yet. I miss him because she would have been a great mother. For her to be a mother, we were so excited. That was the last thing she was waiting for. Coles had a plan for her life, and so far everything was going according to plans, her mother said. Coles first wanted a job, and after years with the post office, and post office to me is a pretty good job, especially because of their benefits. They get federal benefits. I tried to work at the post office a few years ago. I couldn't do it because the department that I was going into, they wanted us to work like 72 hours a week. That breaks down to like 6 12s a week. And it was mandatory. And you could only like vote out. So I basically turned them down. It was just too much. But let me keep going. So Coles first wanted a job, and after years with the post office, she had saved enough for a car and her first home. She and her then boyfriend decided that they were ready for a baby. Okay. For her to vanish out of the blue, I just can't understand it. And so, I go over so many of these cases. I can readily tell y'all. This is why I tell people to be careful dealing with men in our communities, because they think in the hindsight. It's too much evidence out here that proves that what I'm telling y'all is true. A lot of men think in the hindsight. The hindsight is always 2020, and they don't really think about their actions before going into them. So basically, they're not really proactive. They don't think about shit until after it's happened. And then they realize, oh, well, for example, I got this baby on the way that I really don't think I want. Hi, Susie Q. And now it's with this young woman, and I don't think I'm ready for this responsibility. And then they jump off the rails and they do something crazy like make the mom and child disappear. I don't know if y'all know about the Danielle Hoyle case down there in Tennessee. Danielle, the man that she was dealing with, was allegedly married, and he had another girlfriend on the side. Danielle was one of those girlfriends, allegedly. And he did not want his wife to find out about his private life. Danielle kept the baby. She had it at full term. She had delivered the child. They had spent 2 days in the maternity, like in the hospital, in a maternity unit. She got discharged. Now, it's really uncommon for hospitals to let mothers who just had babies like drive on their own. Like, I know in some circumstances they will do it, but most of the time they expect somebody to be able to come pick you up and bring you home. But in this case, I believe they allowed her to drive herself home, and that man caught up with her, shot her in the head, took that baby. The baby was missing. Didn't nobody know where the baby was at first, and it was Amber Alert put out on the baby. And turns out that he took the child, a newborn baby girl, and threw her over a bridge, his own child. So this is why I'm not trying to sound hateful and bitter, and like some people like to come on my channel and say, oh, well, you're black male bashing. I'm not black male bashing, but I am doing exactly what it says in my the name and the description of this channel. I am making you aware. You have to be very careful when you're dealing with this demographic, because they think in the hindsight. They don't think proactive and say, oh, okay, I don't want children, so maybe I should get a vasectomy. Maybe I just shouldn't have sex. They really feel like they just cannot control the urges. So they feel like sex is a must. Oh, I'm going to have sex. So if you're going to have sex, why not just get a vasectomy? Because condoms are not always 100%. They all always want to wear condoms. And I'm telling y'all, I'm being real, and this is from medical experience. If you have a relationship with anybody, I hate to say it, but this is true. If you have a relationship with anybody from that demographic, black and male, you want to make sure before y'all go and get sexually active that this person is only being sexually active with you. And not only that, but y'all go get checked out, because I used to see them back to back in the urgent care, like frequent flyers, damn near knew them by first name and would have them checked in before they came in the door. That type. Okay. Y'all really have to be careful out here, and I mean, if it wasn't to where, like, of course, there's HIPAA, so I can't identify anybody, but I can give you demographics. That demographic you need to watch out for. I'm just gonna say it like that. Don't be out here, be no fool, and get caught up with one of these people, and you catch something that you can't get rid of, or you end up getting pregnant, and this person does not want to have a baby. Y'all know they're rolling back. They're trying to roll back Roe versus Wade, and um, if they are successful in rolling back Roe versus Wade, I am scared for a lot of Black women. This is not a concern of mine because me personally, I'm not sexually active, but even if I was, I'm tied up. I cannot have any children. Okay, I made that choice a long time ago that I didn't want any more babies. But even if I did, like, you still have to watch out for STIs and all when you're dealing with that demographic. But I feel scared with them rolling back or trying or attempting to roll back Roe versus Wade, because that means the men that we deal with in this community, it's going to mean that the risk for Black femicide will rise for Black women, because they don't want to wear condoms. They don't want to get vasectomies. They don't want to stop and control their fleshly urges and just practice abstinence or go celibate. When you think about celibacy, you, especially in our community, you basically think about the women, because women are more able to go celibate than the men. When I think about the men in our community, sad to say, I don't think many of them can, like, I think they can control their urges, but I don't think they want to control those urges to actually go celibate. You know what I'm saying? It's even men in the church having affairs. And, I'm not saying it's everybody, but it's even men in the church having affairs. And they're in high leadership roles in the church, laying down with extra women and going outside of their marriage and doing things that they should not be doing. So you have to be careful, y'all. And, a lot of people will call this hate speech. It's not hate speech to me. It's making you aware, because, hell, if it was hate speech or whatever, the difference between hate speech and the truth is because is usually people, when they're saying something out of hate, is filled with a lot of emotions, and it's not really filled with facts. You could go on any other website, and you don't have to follow Black Women Aware. You go on any other website, especially Black Femicide US. Shout out to them. You could go on their website and see how many cases. Just narrow it down, to just pregnant Black women, and read up on those cases, the solved ones, and see who majority of time is killing these women when they're pregnant. I can bet you my bottom dollar is usually the significant other, and the significant other realized at the last minute, again, thinking in hindsight, they realized at the last minute, after they knocked this girl up, laid down with her, you know what I'm saying, sometimes had a relationship with her or whatever, at the last minute, okay, now we don't want a baby. So you have to be careful. Okay, now let me keep going over this article, and then I'm gonna read up on some other things that I found out about this case. And this is the Keirra Coles case. Okay, so it says the United States Postal Inspection Service and the FBI, because she was a federal employee. You work for the post office, you are a federal employee. So they're both working with Chicago police on the case. Since October 2018, postal inspectors have tracked down and vetted nearly 400 leads across the country. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service distributed thousands of flyers, of reward flyers. Okay, so they basically put out the word. And at this time, I believe the total amount, if you can give them silent leads on this case, you can get yourself a cool 45,000. I believe that's where it is right now. Okay, and so if you have any information on this case, it says to call U.S. Postal Inspection Service hotline at 877-876-2455, and the reference number for Kiera Coles case is 269 3502. So the reference number for Keirra Coles' case is 269-3502. Okay, now let me go over some other stuff that I found, because the one thing that you have to be careful about, like I was telling y'all when I was covering the Alexis Morales case, is that there is going to always be a lot of speculation and gossip around these cases. Okay. Now, I have to say that everything that I found on Keirra Coles is alleged, okay, right now. So let me just look up, because people are talking, they talk. So let me read what this person wrote. So it says Keirra Coles was pregnant by her boyfriend of 6 years, and the boyfriend's name, or the ex-boyfriend, should I say, his name was Josh Simmons. During the time of her disappearance, Josh did not help pass out flyers or look for Keirra. He cut off communication with Keirra's mother and relocated to Louisiana to be with his children's mother. And Keirra and the children's mother, so the other baby mama, in other words, they did not get along, and they also had a physical altercation. What do y'all think? Knowing all of this, what do y'all think happened? Because my mind already racing. But let me keep going. So it says surveillance of women thought to be Keirra was shown nationwide. That's the video that you can see her, or who they think is her, walking down the street, and the person has on like a post office uniform and all, and they're walking down the street. But Keirra's mom, Miss Phillips, does not think that's Keirra. Okay, she's came out publicly and said that. So it also says here in this post that Chicago police also confirmed that the person in that video was not Keirra. So, and that frustrated Keirra's mom, because basically she feels like while everybody was focusing on that one video, they could have been out there really looking for her daughter, and I agree with that. So, because I'm thinking I can find some stuff on this Josh Simmons. I actually want to start getting into looking up public records, like criminal backgrounds on people. And let me see. I don't know if this is him though. Yeah, let me see. I think it has a picture of, let me see. So it says, has anyone seen them? Keirra Smith and Josh Simmons may have something to do with Keirra Coles being missing. And he has on, so I don't know if the boyfriend used to work with Keirra Coles, but these pictures that I found is of a man, and he has on like a postal hat or whatever. So I don't know if they met on the job or whatever, and I don't know how many kids he has with his other kid's mom. I'm thinking on this stuff because like that could have played a part in everything too. Like if he wasn't serious about her, and he, whenever it's somebody and they got more than one baby, they already know the ropes. They know they have to step up, and okay, you'd made another single mother household, so now you got to take care of this family over here and that one down in Louisiana. So I'm definitely thinking he possibly has something to do with her disappearance. Okay. And this other girl as well. I don't think she had anything to do with it, but I think she personally probably knows something, so let's see. And I'm just looking through, and because I'm finding stuff basically. So let me see. Okay, that don't have anything to do with that, but I'm gonna try to, because I found out a way to look up public records through the government sites, because some of them you can get free, some of them you have to pay, and some of them you can get free. And basically what I'm trying to do is find things on this Josh Simmons person. And obviously, y'all, when you go to investigate these cases, you have to be very careful, because we don't know what these people are capable of. Okay. Let me see. So I'm reading up on something, y'all. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna read this, and like I said, I gotta say allegedly, but I don't know if this has anything to do with this case. But let me just read this to y'all. So this one person says that's what and it don't show what they're responding to, but let me just read this because I'm trying to gauge and see what y'all think about this. So it says, that's what I thought. Now have a nice day. And the other person, somebody responds and says, I got a lying problem, but everybody clearly said on my other status that y'all don't know what y'all talking about, but okay, have a nice day. Okay, well, I'm gonna post these messages and see if everybody else think you lying. Okay, so I think this is it's possibly um a conversation. Okay, let me see, because I recognize these names, and it doesn't have anything to do with Keirra Coles. This has something to do with the Alexis Morales case, and I'm not going to read any further than that, because it looks like Alexis Morales, when she was alive, she was on here arguing with somebody, so that don't have anything to do with what I'm looking for. Because I'm trying to see if I can find, and I do have certain apps that I pay for yearly to get a hold of public records and things like that, like public records that aren't free or whatever. I'm gonna have to look into that, but I definitely want to look into this Josh Simmons. Cause come on now, like he, I can't say for sure whether or not he has anything to do with her disappearance, but it's always a high chance, especially when the person is pregnant and they're expecting, and the other person, like when they said he had a baby mama in Louisiana already, because sometimes when I review these cases, I get hunches, and my hunches are confirmed later on. So when they say he had a baby mama in Louisiana, I could literally put myself in his footsteps, and I was like, oh. So basically, you didn't want to pay for two women having kids. You didn't want an extra baby. You didn't want to deal with somebody else in a different state having your child. You don't want to pay for that. You don't want to deal with the stress. The other baby mama probably let you get away with God knows what. And you know what I mean? And I don't personally think he was ever serious about Kiera, sad to say. I think he was just dealing with her, because some of these men will get with you, and you will be like the side, because they can't get to the one they really want to be with. And it says here that he left state, y'all. He left state. He went all the way from Illinois to Louisiana to be with the other baby mama. And I know that I'm on the right track with thinking that he has something to do with it, because Kiera Coles' father came out and said, like, he was angry, and he was like, Chicago police let this man leave the state knowing he could possibly have something to do with my daughter's disappearance. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to keep reading into this. They told me that the detective who is working Rere's case will be back in the office on Wednesday, so I will be calling him back and seeing what all he can tell me about this case. As I do with some of these women, when they go missing, I try to reach out to the families so I can speak with the families so that we can bring more attention to the cases, because it's sad to say that I am from the Midwest, but I've never heard of Rere. I've never heard of Sharita Morrison. You know what I mean? And I vaguely remember hearing about Keira Coles, but I only remember seeing that video. I never really heard anything more than that. And that's what's sad, because these cases, some of them happen so close to home and you don't really ever hear about them. Okay, so I'm going to call Detective Polavina back on Wednesday and see what he could tell me. Hopefully he can, I don't think he will though, but hopefully, there's always hope. He can put me in contact with Rere's next of kin, so I can possibly get them on the show, interview them, and like see what all they can tell us to help us to keep an eye out for their loved one. But I'm sad to say, when it's usually an expectant mother, it was foul play involved, and like I said earlier, with them trying to roll back Roe versus Wade, it's going to be even scarier, for Black women out here. It really is, because like I said, some of these men, they already don't want babies. They don't want to be, because they get that fear of, oh, well, we're going to be put on child support. Why not marry this person then? Why not, marry this person before you lay down and have sex with them? But again, like a lot of these people nowadays, you cannot speak common sense into people. They get mad. They, oh, well, you in my business and all this and all that other. But then you got to listen to them bitch and moan about how they on child support and didn't want this child and all. It's craziness. Like, I don't understand it. I just literally, y'all, got in an argument with somebody that I personally know. Let me pull up this post, and y'all tell me if y'all seen this post on Facebook. But I can't stand this damn post. And usually what I'll do is I'll scroll past them because I'm not finna argue. I keep telling y'all, when it comes to and I don't say men on child support because that makes people think that only men can be put on child support. I usually say non-custodial parents and custodial parents, okay? Because it could be a grandmother versus a mother. It could be an auntie versus the father. Whoever has custody of that child can put you on child support, and they can put on the mother or the father on child support, okay? So let me see. So this person, he shared a post and he said, so many kids grow up thinking they have a deadbeat father. Whole time, all they really had was a very bitter mother. Now, I cannot stand that Facebook post, and I can't stand it because me personally, I would fight fucking Lucifer over my kids. You know what I'm saying? I've been in positions to where I had to fight for my kids, in custodial battles. And every day, like, I didn't give a damn about sacrificing sleep. I didn't give a damn about working hours on top of hours and going into overtime and being sore or whatever to get money up for lawyers or whatever to do what I had to do to fight custody battles or whatever. I've been through that before and always won. And I won because I didn't fucking give up, and I didn't let no bullshit, not no demon devil in hell could keep me away from my kids. So when he wrote that, y'all, I hadn't had, like, because I've been trying to cut back on my coffee. And coffee is usually like my happy juice. It keeps me in a good mood. But anyways, when I seen that post, I was like, fuck it. I don't give a damn how he feel. I'm just finna write what I write, and he just gonna be pissed off. So I basically told him, like, I find it hard to believe that it's a lot of men in our community using that bitter baby mama bullshit as an excuse as to why they're not in their kids' lives. But when you talk to these women, it's, oh, he was abusive to me. Oh, he was not helping me. Oh, I asked him to do this or that, and he didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I got on this man's post and I said, if you allow somebody's feelings to keep you away from seeing your child, then sir, the shoe fits where you are a deadbeat. You know what I'm saying? You using that as an excuse. You trying to give, when they blame it on the other party and they say, oh, well, that's the reason why I can't see my kids. That is an excuse. That's something like a shield. It's something they're used to covering who they really are. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to focus on the fact that they really are a deadbeat. They want you to, they want to point fingers and take the blame off of them. Oh, well, she's keeping me away from the child because she's bitter. No, why don't you get up and pay for a lawyer and take her ass to court if you really want to see them damn kids? Why don't you set your ass down in somebody's public library, read and call around here, because they got free consultations. They have, some of these colleges, some of these law schools have free legal aid. You can sit down and, hell, if you got a question, like they say all the time, closed mouth don't get fed. If you have a question or anything, you can go out here and find the answers as long as you're diligent. It's not that fucking hard. Google is literally at everybody's fingertips. Okay? So when these men say that, it irritates. Hi, Cheryl. It irritates the goddamn shit out of me because all the times that's not the case. Okay? I know personally that like being in a situation with my abusive ex, like he used to use that as an excuse as well as to why he couldn't see his daughter. And I was never the type of woman to go and try to fight the other woman or any shit like that. But her daughter, if her daughter was going to be coming over my house, I wanted to have a healthy relationship with her and let her know that I'm not toxic. I'm not going to hurt your child and all this other weird shit that motherfuckers out here be on. But we sat down and talked, and what I found was her version of events was way different than his. And as our relationship continued to go on, I began to see in him what she had said a long time ago. This person is abusive. This person abused drugs. This person does not want to do their part. You know what I mean? So she figured out, like, hell, why fight and argue and try to force somebody to do what most black women in the black community do without nobody telling us, which is taking care of our kids? Why do we have to, you know what I'm saying, basically hold a motherfucking hand through fatherhood? Don't nobody hold our hands through motherhood. Nobody, not at all. And sometimes black women are having babies, and it's sad. They shouldn't be, but they are. Some of them are having babies as young as 15 and 16. And I know women who have had kids that young, and at that age, you know what I'm saying, rig their way into getting their own apartments and staying in school and working and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I went on that post, y'all, and I cussed them all the way the fuck out. And just like everybody, all those men do, they get offended, they get mad, they want to talk shit. And I told them, I said, you have no excuse. I said, and I see it all the time with your demographic. Your demographic, I see like frequent flyers in the urgent care when I work there, burning. And I'm not trying to degrade anybody. It's just the motherfucking truth. You know what I'm saying? It's just the truth. The one case that I always tell y'all about that just had me so fucking shocked was when the nigga came in and he was burning flame broil like Burger King, and he did not come in because he had an STI. He came in because he could not get it up anymore. Okay? He couldn't get it up anymore. So he thinking he got a heart condition because he can't get it up. Whole time it's an STI that has went untreated for so long that it's caused this man to develop erectile dysfunction. You know, that case and the other one when I had a young man of that demographic. I had him come in, and he literally told me and the other nurse that he had a skin rash on his peen. Okay, now the other nurse, she was older, she getting ready to retire. She on her way out the door, and she looked at me, and it wasn't. I could see the front, both of me and the damn patient could see the frustration on her face because she knew and he knew that was not no skin rash on his peen. That was an STD. You see what I'm saying? So I always warn people, like, be careful when you mess with these men. Not only that, but I worked for the male gynecologist. I worked for the urologist also for a couple of years, and I never seen black men in there for vasectomies. And vasectomies are cheap. They're reversible. You can get in and get out with a vasectomy. It usually takes a man with a vasectomy about 2 to 3 weeks to heal. Now me myself, I've had a tubal ligation. Tubal ligations are considered major surgeries. You have to go to the hospital to have them done. Not only like they're done in the hospital, but even like I'm about almost 10 years out from having a tubal. Now, before I had a tubal, I had no cramps like with menstruation. I did not get cramps or anything like that, but every month, y'all, I get cramps. So it's painful even today. That's not how it worked with vasectomies. Vasectomies, you go in, you probably have 2-3 weeks of soreness. And if you have any pain from a vasectomy from there on out, they know that it's something abnormal. But they can go in and get this shit done right at the doctor's office. So knowing all that I know, and when I hear people complain or blame the custodial parent, or in most cases the mother, as to why they can't see their children or anything like that, I tends to go the fuck off, because you could have prevented this, and you're not being there and you blaming her for why you're not there. It says to me that, one, you never wanted to be there. Two, you don't want to face the fact of who you really are. Y'all got to be careful with people who don't want to be truthful with self about who they really are and what they really do, because them type of people will put you 6 feet under to keep living alive. Okay, they will do it. Don't believe me? Google Danielle Hoyle. I just got done telling y'all about her story. That man didn't want that responsibility for that baby, and he didn't want the truth coming out to his wife that he had been cheating on her. Okay? You have to be careful with these people. Okay? But that's all I have right now. I am working on other missing cases. I came across a lot of cold cases. These cases are a little bit harder to solve. This is why when I come across a case, for example, like Rere's that's only a year old, I try immediately to get a hold of the family. Or if they're just a month old, or if they're only been missing for a week or something, I try to immediately get a hold of the next of kin, because the more we know and the more that we're educated on these cases and where they fall in the categories, because I know a lot of y'all don't know, like, but when missing persons, everybody doesn't get an Amber Alert or a silver alert. It doesn't always work like that. And then if they don't get an alert at all, they're put in different categories. Like, was it a catastrophe? Because, for example, when Hurricane Katrina happened, that was considered a catastrophe, and a lot of Black people went missing. And so they were put in a category of, okay, this is a catastrophe missing person. They're put in different categories. Okay, so I try to get a hold of the families as quick as possible to learn as much as possible on the case so we can find these people and bring them home. Because the more time that goes past, the harder it is to solve. You know what I mean? So yeah, with these two, I'm just wondering because I haven't found out anything about whether or not if Rere was involved with somebody. Obviously, she didn't get herself pregnant, so she had to have a relationship with somebody. But I haven't had a name. I haven't come across anybody talking about a significant other, whether she was in a relationship with anybody or not. That's still to be investigated. As far as Keirra Coles, what it's seeming like to me is that they just don't have a lot of evidence to pin the case on this guy, this Josh Simmons guy. And it seems to me that either police are quiet because they don't have leads, or they're quiet because they're waiting for, you know, the right motherfucker to slip up and say something or do something to you know, put the trail back on fire again and lead them to the right culprit behind her missing, you know. So yeah, Cheryl says, don't forget about the girlfriend of the guy that was talking to Danielle too. All of them worked at FedEx. Yeah, Cheryl, I had mentioned that. Danielle Hoyle, the guy she was dealing with was married and he had another girlfriend. You know, I'm not sure about the relationship between both Danielle, the wife, and the other girlfriend, but I did hear that Danielle was like into it with one of his other girlfriends. I don't know if it was the wife or the other girlfriend because this fool had 3 women, you know, and you would think that somebody that sexually active, like, I can't give nobody a pass and say, okay, it's okay to be that sexually active, knowing what I know about STIs, but at least get a vasectomy so that you're not creating a whole bunch of single parent households. But instead of him doing that, and yes, I'm finna go off. Excuse me, y'all. I'm trying to stop cussing on here, but I sometimes it's just is needed. This stupid motherfucker kills this woman and throws her baby over a bridge. Okay, now you got to come out hundreds of thousands in a court case and possibly spend the rest of your dumbass life behind bars because you did not want to go into the doctor's office and get a simple procedure. You see why that's why I call this demographic that. That's why I always say they think in the hindsight. The hindsight is always 2020. They can look back clear as day and be like, oh shit, shouldn't have did that. But they can't look in the future and be like, oh, okay, let me get myself checked out before I do that. You know, if you ask them to be proactive, you asking too fucking much. You know. So, anyways, yeah, y'all, I'm finna get off of here. I am gonna get in contact with that detective and see what he knows. Hopefully, he can put me in contact with a next of kin for Rere. And my prayers and everything are with the family of Kiera Coles. I'm praying that they, you know, either she's brought home. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. My hunch is saying that she's not in this world anymore. That's what my hunch is saying. But I'm praying that she is, you know, but I really don't believe somebody is holding her. I believe that what they should look for now, which it looks like from what I've seen, that they're looking for is remains. You know, I hate to say it, but that's, you know, because nobody just ups and disappears. She was calling her mama every day, and now she's just gone. That's abnormal. The same with Rere. Rere, her son came out and said he said he knew something was wrong the day she went missing because Rere didn't go pick up her 4-year-old daughter, and he said, I know my mama. My mama ain't gonna forget about my sister. So, you know, there's definitely, I believe there's foul play in both cases. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all be blessed, be safe, be alert, and be aware. This is Candace Yvette, and I am signing off.